Let us continue to look at Psalm 23. Psalm 23. David said in verse 1, "The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want." If that is the case, let us take a long, hard look at reality. There are many people who believe that once we become Christians, we ought to be exempt from the day-to-day struggles of life. Do you think the same way? If yes, then you are in real danger of misinterpreting this wonderful psalm and this wonderful divine shepherd and divine God. Psalmist Asaph, he thought the same way. He misinterpreted God initially. Look at Psalm 73. Psalm 73, verse 2. He said like this, "But as for me, my feet had almost stumbled. My steps had nearly slipped, for I was envious of the boastful when I saw the prosperity of the wicked." When I saw the prosperity of the wicked, I was envious. It took some time for the psalmist to realize the spiritual truth. Now look at verse 21 of the same Psalm 73. "Thus my heart was grieved, and I was vexed in my mind. I was so foolish and ignorant. I was like a beast before you. Nevertheless, I am continually with you." Verse 23. "You hold me by my right hand. You will guide me with your counsel, and afterward receive me to glory. Whom have I in heaven but you? And there is none upon earth that I desire beside you. And there is none upon earth that I desire besides you." This is not the way the psalmist began this psalm. He was envious. He saw that wicked are prospering. He saw a lot of things are happening around. Once a young man came to me. He was overtaken by a series of difficult problems. And he said to me like this, "Why should this happen to me? Why should this happen to me? I am a Christian. Why should this happen to me? I am a Christian. God should treat me better. Why am I treated like this?" Are you that same person who asks this question quite often? I pointed out to him that the attitude that he was adopting was highly dangerous. But I'm afraid my words did not make much of an impression upon him. He finished up in a serious mental depression later on. Now, what is the difference between a Christian and a non-Christian? What's the difference? The difference is not in what happens to us, but what we are able to do with what happens to us. It's all about putting back the perspective. Putting back the perspective. That's the point here. From around to above. From around to above. Difficulties and problems come to all of us, Christians and non-Christians alike. But while the same things happen to us all, they do not have the same effect upon us all. The same thing happening to two different people may have an entirely different effect. It all depends upon our inner attitudes. As someone said like this, he said, "What life does to us in the long run depends on what life finds in us." Isn't it wonderful? Psalmist Asaph was caught up in a trap. He could not deny the evidence that said that the wicked and ungodly often have good lives. He could not deny that his own life was often hard. It left him feeling very depressed and very different, and he was chastened by God. He felt all this to be true. Before I came to the Lord in February 1989, I too thought the same way. I looked around and found that everyone is doing fine except me. I found through a moment of wrestling with God, arguing with God, that I have totally misunderstood this God. During that time, my elder brother directed me to this psalm, Psalm 73, and God opened my eyes. When you look back to Psalm 23, that is the difference of this psalmist Asaph and psalmist David. David did not look around to see the depression hovering over him. David said, "The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want." And I'm sure if you look around, you can be dejected and I can be dejected. But if you look up towards the heavens, it's all about putting back the perspective. Will you do that? Putting back the perspective from around to above, putting back your perspective of around to above everything, that God is over everything. If you have done that, I'm sure this morning, whatever circumstance you're facing, whatever challenges you're going to face today, you would say, I know that the Lord is my shepherd. I shall not want. I shall not want. It's all about putting your perspective of around. Take it out. Those that are around you, that are hovering, that are dominating your life, that are controlling your life, and all that, put it above. Give it to God and say, God, you are my shepherd. I shall not want. God bless you as you meditate on this psalm throughout this day. And I'm sure you'll find victory if you're truly meditating this psalm. God bless you.